Hello, I videotaped something from up here last spring. Here, but I'll show you. It's Mount Zion. It's a beautiful place. And now it's fall. And so it looks like that. And I'm thinking to go over here. And sometimes it's better to let you go with me than just to start up somewhere. But the hillside, there's some rock here. I think I'll just sit down on the side here. And I found just one thing in the car that I could read to you, that I've written. And I don't think I've read this one to you yet. So, I'll turn it back, but there's not much to look at. I think I'll turn it back to the beautiful stuff. And, but here, I've called this thing substance. And here's what it looks like. Like that. And it's 4 pages, but the last page is like that. So I'll read it to you. I've wanted to make things available so you could read them at your own pace when you want, if you want. But I don't know how. Maybe someday someone will help that work out. I don't know. But here, I'll start reading this so that it doesn't take too much time. It's already a minute and a half. Oh boy. Okay. Take off the glasses. I can see better that way. Now turn it back to the pretty stuff out there. Okay? There you go. Well, it's even brighter in person. And if the sun would peek out, that would be really nice. Here it goes. And it's originally written to my kids on December 20th, 2022. Guys, I was sitting at the kitchen table about 2 weeks ago when the Lord said, "Nothing is without substance." End quote. He just up and gave this to me to think about and ask him about. But most often he just wants you to consider the thing, and he helps as needed. And guys, I'll mention, it's not written here, but he doesn't say things very often, at least not to me that often, but now and then. Okay, I'll keep reading. Well, see, like this. Well, I found the statement to be two-sided. First, nothing, absolute emptiness, would have no substance, is without substance. Second, anything, therefore, has substance. Well, I had to run some errands, and one was to get bread at the bakery. Guys, maybe the leaves aren't all that adorable. Maybe you want to see me read this. I'll turn this around. This is where I'm sitting. Oh, all these leaves. And today is October 21st, 2025. Oh, but the light just got a little brighter out there. That's nice. Okay, but I mustn't distract you from this reading. I guess I'll turn it to me. Okay. Not that I'm so grand, but... Well, I had to run some errands, and one was to get bread at the bakery. So an hour later, I was waiting my turn to check out at the bakery when the clerk called out cheerfully to a man on his way out the door, "Now behave yourself." Whereupon the man halted, came back nearer, smiled, and in a stage whisper said to her, "At our age, it's not behave, but don't get caught," with his index finger up to emphasize it. Well, they laughed, and I was smiling, trying to consider the thing, and he left. But that helped. That got me to realizing. And before I go on, maybe you stop and think how God's sentence puts the man's sentence. I have to change the page one-handed because I'm holding the phone in order to video. Maybe you stop and think of how God's sentence puts the man's sentence in a whole new light. Think about it. Then I'll tell you what occurred to me. Okay? And there I left a blank space. Well, there's probably more to consider about this than I found so far. Truth is like that. But what I've seen is that we really ought not to ever think we can do something and never get caught, or it never be found out, either a good thing or a bad thing. As it says in the last verse of Ecclesiastes, that's one of the middle books in the Bible. As it says in the last verse of Ecclesiastes, King Solomon wrote that one. It's actually chapter 12, verse 14. For God shall bring every work into judgment, with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. And I put in parentheses, and the verse before that says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. It goes on to say, for God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. But the implications of God's sentence went further, at least for me, as I realized that not only our actions have substance, but also our decisions have substance. And likely, even our motivations have a kind of substance. They're real, aren't they? And powerful too. So then, even though we can't physically see them, or touch, or measure them, still they are real and have substance in our brains, in the cells and circuitry. And God, being God, probably sees in our minds and hearts the components of these things, our motivations and choices among them, and our processing of them, promoting some, demoting and discarding others. And so it is all open to Him, not just our actions, but our pre-actions, not just what we did, but why we did it. Reminds me of a rhyme I ran across recently, and I wrote, good timing, Lord. I just ran across it recently in an old notebook. I wrote it down long ago. Here's the rhyme. Your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are the seeds. You can grow flowers, or you can grow weeds. End quote. And God knows that outside influences press on us too. Yet we still have choices to make. As in that same notebook, within reach on this table, says, quote, one ship drives east and another drives west, with the self-same winds that blow. 'Tis the set of the sails, and not the gales, that tell us the way to go. Like the winds of the sea are the waves of fate, as we voyage along through life. 'Tis the set of a soul that decides its goal, and not the calm or the strife. That's by Ella Wheeler Wilcox. I found it years ago. Now here's the last page. See there? So, all this says to me, rethink your thoughts. They're not nothing. They matter, 'cause they are matter, and they are powerful. Jesus can cleanse our thoughts and our lives if we ask Him to. We need to work with Him and build good things, inside and out. Interesting. Thank you, Lord. Sincerely, Terry Bale. That's me. Terry Bale. So, I got up here to see the leaves, and I thought, oh, I made a video here last spring, and they'd maybe like to see it. Okay, I'm going to show you again, and then I better stop it. Thank you for listening and caring about things. And may God help us all to make good decisions. Help us, Lord. Okay, here, I'll show you around again. It's so pretty out there. I've been just sitting here. It's quite cool out, but not bad. And is there any particular pretty thing? The red leaves close at hand, the moss on the rock that I'm sitting on, up there. Oh, just a lot of the leaves are already gone, but Right there's the biggest, brightest yellow patch out there, it looks like. And that's about it. Okay, and the clouds are pretty too. And out there is Lake Superior. Boy, it's beautiful. Way out there. Okay, to say goodbye. Okay, thank you again. Lord, help us all. He's there for us. He wants to help. That's why he put us here. And he wants each one to make his own decisions. He doesn't want us to be emotional slaves, or you've got to do this. No, but know that there is a God who really made all this life, and it's worth it to call on him, to consider him, to thank him, thank him for all the things, for life itself, and ask him for help with the struggles we have. Okay, that's all. I better go. Thank you. Bye-bye.